Right. So Trump is on a legal retribution tour.
Oh, no.
He is threatening people with lawsuits and prosecutions.
Where did he get that idea?
I don't know. And, he, as always, he has this grin communicating, I'll be threatening you with a good time as well. Right. So he was also in the media business. He has lots of feuds with celebrities. He has basically lots of feuds with everyone.
Yeah, it's not his first rodeo.
It's not his first, and it's a bit hilarious after a while. And let's see now what we're gonna make it a bit about his latest, his greatest hits. Right. So this comes from May. He targets Beyonce, Bono, and Bruce Springsteen, saying that they backed Kamala Harris, and basically that they told an audience that the U.S. administration is corrupt, incompetent, and treasonous, and he is basically against them, right? So not just them. This is a really funny one. He says they should be prosecuted about Kamala Harris, Beyonce, Oprah over 2024 endorsements.
So I absolutely get Harris and so on, and people who actually sort of did stuff, but how are you going to prosecute Beyonce? I mean, that doesn't feel like a winner to me.
What's Beyonce actually done?
Okay. So according to Trump, that's always according to Trump. I'm not saying she actually did it, but what he said is that she was paid to endorse Kamala Harris.
Probably true.
And
illegal?
He says that it's illegal. Let me just tell you what he says. What Trump says. I'm looking at the large amount of money owed by the Democrats after the presidential election, and the fact that they admit to paying, probably legally, $11 million to singer Beyonce for an endorsement. She never sang, not one note, and left the stage to a booing and angry audience. $3 million for expenses to Oprah, $600,000 to very low-rated TV anchor Al Sharpton, a total lightweight. And others to be named for doing absolutely nothing. These ridiculous fees were incorrectly stated in the books and records. You're not allowed to pay for an endorsement. It's totally illegal to do so.
So what Trump
he ended with MAGA. I don't see why they didn't put it, but most probably I think he ended with MAGA.
So what Trump is doing here is just showing everyone the kind of slush fund that comes out of like Act Blue to, we're going to pay you for, a performance. Well, $3 million for, an hour of you talking.
Oh, I see. Right.
So things like that, you're going to buy Hunter Biden's latest art piece for $500,000, which took him like 20 minutes to splash onto a camera.
But also, I mean, imagine if they paid Cardi B. I'm saying if. I'm not saying they did, and she got it, and I don't know if that's illegal, as Trump said.
I love the fact that historians, like a couple of thousand years from now, are going to be going through, what politicians were saying. And I've done this when I've looked back at what Romans were saying, and you don't really see a difference between like 300 BC and 100 AD. It's just, they all sound roughly the same. So in a couple of thousand years, they're going to be looking at politicians, and the old gentleman doth depune my honour, and then all of a sudden they're going to get to Trump, and it's going to be, whoa, what happened there?
Yeah, but imagine if we had a video of the equivalent people in antiquity who may have been paid or not to endorse politicians, and they were reading from the teleprompter of the times. We won't, but you remember
clay tablets,
Cardi B, who couldn't read. Imagine they paid for that. That was a disastrous.
I mean, maybe Caesar did actually talk like Trump. It just never got written down.
Well, Caesar did a lot of writing, and a lot of people listened to his speeches. He didn't speak like Trump.
Oh, okay, right.
I think he was
He was a trained rhetorician.
He was a trained rhetorician.
Rhodes, I think.
Also, I think maybe Trump should get a lesson from Caesar.
I think it's a bit late for that.
It's a bit late.
Yeah, I think that ship sailed.
Okay, right. No, I'm saying don't walk in unarmed somewhere where people want to do this. No, people know what I'm saying. That's not what I meant. That's not what he. So now he's threatening to prosecute news networks, Beyonce, Oprah, and Kamala Harris, and they give a response here.
I love the framing of this. Oh, it's all totally baseless. Like, yep, you've been saying that for a decade now, and then every time it turns out it's not totally baseless.
Yeah. They said, and let me tell you what they said. Oprah previously said she was not paid a dime to appear alongside Harris, whose campaign covered $1 million in production costs for a live stream event. I can
it's
believe
an expensive live stream.
I can believe though that some celebrities would do that for free.
Yeah, but the way they get around it is by not formally paying them, but
Yeah.
like giving them, again, production costs.
Yeah.
For a huge thing, So, like, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. But
there's so many ways around it.
Yeah.
They could have paid for her staff bill for 6 months, which would have been millions.
Also, the Harris campaign denied ever paying Beyonce for her endorsement.
Mm-hmm.
And the campaign similarly paid her production company, Parkwood Production Media, LLC, $165,000, according to Federal Election Commission
There we go.
records.
For what? What did the company do that warranted 165 grand?
Oprah said that people worked in it and they had to get paid.
Exactly. They paid however many months worth of staff costs.
They had to transport, most probably, I bet, they had to transport Beyonce to where she was about to talk and express her.
See, this is just the slush fund.
This requires money.
Yeah.
And there's also the other bit here that Trump has also routinely, they say, used threats to legal action to threaten media outlets, publishers, and journalists over what he perceives as antagonistic coverage.
Okay.
And he filed a $10 billion lawsuit against Rupert Murdoch, the Wall Street Journal, and its parent companies, as well as 2 journalists, following the newspaper's publication of the president's alleged birthday letter to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
Why wouldn't you just say it's a hoax and move on?
I don't know,
might
but
be able to get money out of them.
this is one of those cases where if someone wants to give an uncharitable interpretation of Trump, they'd say probably that he's doing this to divert attention away from the Epstein file, the handling of the Epstein files case, and he wants to divert attention to Brent Circus.
Sure.
Talking about Beyonce, Bono, and Al Sharpton.
The thing
That's the uncharitable interpretation.
I suspect that if there was something to it, Trump would just call it a hoax. I suspect if there's not anything to it, as in then he's actually like, I can get some money out of this.
Yep.
Right. And now let's talk about the political ones. There was an article by CNN that says that Trump is waging warfare against several prominent people.
Oh, really?
Politicians and officials.
Oh, good.
Yeah, good.
Who?
Yeah.
Sorry, did Trump volunteer his own mugshot? Did he? And what about the New York Attorney General who tried to ban him from owning businesses in New York?
You mean Letitia
yeah.
James?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
that's her.
Was it her?
I think that's who she is.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So she, like, the whole thing was clearly a witch hunt.
Wait, that's a senior judge in the US, is it?
Yes, of course it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So this article says that they have been prosecuting Trump for several cases, like the suspected involvement in Ukraine, January 6, 2021, personal cases, and also they are talking about the the alleged Russian interference in the U.S. elections.
Yeah.
And right now, what essentially happens is that Trump is waging warfare and is calling for the investigation of people on all these fronts.
Good.
And he says, for instance, about the administrations of the Obama. Apologies. About officials of the Obama administration.
Yeah.
That they were deliberately manufacturing false data or manipulating.
Is he actually bringing lawsuits against these people, or is he calling for it? Because there is a fundamental difference here. So Joe Biden could stand up, and he did this with Elon Musk, for example. He said, I think the federal government should be looking at this guy. And that's all he needed to say. And then the entire federal government was like, okay, let's see what we can do. And they brought 53 simultaneous government actions against him. One of them was ridiculous because, like, when he launched his rockets in Florida, he might have woken up a shark or something. It was something like that. Every element of the state went after Musk because Joe Biden basically just said, I think we should look at this guy, because the state is a democratic machine. When Trump does that, it's not going to have the same effect. 53 agencies are not going to go after him. So he can't just say we should do this and then something happens like Biden could have done. He has to actually bring the cases himself. So is he actually doing that?
I think that it really depends on the person we're talking about. To a very large extent, he's threatening with prosecutions. But according to this article, that several people have been
Okay.
have been, let's
Right.
say,
So,
have had trouble with law. And
So
this,
Pam Bondi has ordered prosecutors to begin a grand jury probe into allegations that Obama was manufacturing intelligence on Russia's interference.
Yeah.
Okay.
and this also comes from a report that Tulsi Gabbard had
Yep.
compiled in 2020, I think, and that has resurfaced now.
Wait, I remember just a couple of weeks ago watching a video of Trump, and I don't think it was an AI, I think it was a genuine video, where Trump's in the Oval Office and he's saying, we know Obama committed treason.
Yeah. So why is he not-
We have the evidence. It's like, okay, well, if he's committed treason, why isn't he handcuffed then?
Well, we always need to. I mean, from a distance perspective, we always need to take that with a pinch of salt. It's one thing we have to draw the line between political criticism and excessive.
Yeah, but he said
rhetoric.
treason. That
Yes.
is the highest crime
Well,
as far as the state is concerned.
most probably, if he believes it, he needs to use law to prosecute him. That,
Yeah, but
he has suggested it.
If
it says
anyone
here.
else, if they had evidence of treason against anyone else, they would be arrested, and then the process would begin.
Yeah,
So, is he just talking, or is he actually going to do something?
we'll see. Other prominent people have been targeted. Former FBI Director James Comey,
Yep.
former CIA Director John Brennan,
Yep.
Adam Schiff, and
but this is an FBI investigation that's actually going into him, right?
Yeah.
So there's a grand jury probe and an FBI investigation into them. So there are actual legal mechanisms in process now.
yes.
Right. Okay, that's good. Because normally it's just like Trump will say something and it's
Yeah.
just said.
And it says right there, we learned last month that the FBI was investigating Comey for possible false statements to Congress.
I think it's pronounced Comey, but
Comey.
I like your way of saying it as Comey. I like that.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And they say the news of the investigation came after Trump administration officials earlier this year strained to accuse Comey of calling for the president's assassination. That's an accusation. Right, then we're talking about former CIA Director John Brennan. The FBI investigation also included Brennan, who played a key role in early assessments of Russia's interference and whom Trump has regularly attacked.
Mm-hmm.
And they are also targeting Adam Schiff,
Schiff.
Senator Adam Schiff of California. Essentially, and also Liz Cheney, and they're saying that both of them were involved into the first attempt to impeach Trump.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they are. This is one of the reasons why Trump may want to go after them.
All right, because Schiff is under allegations of mortgage fraud.
Yeah.
And what's Cheney under allegations for?
If you see, well, in addition to saying January 6 committee members should be in jail, Trump promoted social media posts calling for Cheney to face a televised military tribunal. While there is no evidence of such an FBI investigation, House Republicans press forward with their own probe. So this seems more like a...
So this is the House Republicans investigating and not the FBI.
Yes, and this looks a bit more political. It's like
This is
him being against someone within his own party.
Yeah. But again, after Letitia James, or whatever her name was, what she did in New York, well, Crimea River.
Yeah.
You get what you
But the thing is,
Well,
but
also,
I don't want this to be talk. I want these people actually in jail.
Well, I mean...
And if he doesn't do it, then the message they're going to take away is that, okay, when we're in power, we can do it, and you won't do it back to us. And
I think it's important to see what's going to come out of it, because some of these allegations are really, I suspect, much easier to prove or not. It's much easier when you are making an accusation that can be proved by hard evidence, such as this person committed fraud with public funding, for instance, or this person was communicating with foreign powers in order to manipulate data to spin a narrative that's going to affect elections. It's quite another thing to say, well, she is dividing House Republicans.
Okay.
Let's continue the Ukraine impeachment. They're talking about the Vindmans. Then interim U.S. Attorney Ed Martin earlier this year sent letters to Democratic Representative Eugene Vindman of Virginia seeking information about a business Vindman and his brother Alexander Vindman founded to help arm Ukraine to fight Russia. According to the Washington Post, CNN has not reported on these letters. Before Eugene Vindman was elected to Congress, the Vindman brothers blew the whistle on Trump, tying Ukraine aid to the country, announcing an investigation into the Bidens, when Joe Biden was Trump's campaign, whom former top administration official Elon Musk called a traitor.
Right. So this is right. Okay, this is interesting actually. Right. So you go back to that second. So what this is business as usual, not being business as usual. Right. So obviously, various bigwigs in either administration, there's something happening great. My brother happens to have, or happens to have founded, a corporation, a company that will do this. So government funding gets slushed into it, and then 20% of it arrives where it's supposed to be in the actual process. But then you've got Trump causing a big stink about this. It's not that Trump's necessarily against this, obviously, because they've attacked him for basically doing the same thing, trying to tie the Ukraine aid to investigating Biden's. 'Cause Biden famously had that video where he was like, was it Attorney General or something in Ukraine, and we said you're not going to get the money, and lo and behold, they got rid of him. Right? That's what I think Trump was trying to cause trouble over. But this is like the greased wheels being investigated here, which is unusual.
And I'm afraid I still want to labour my point about these people actually need to be followed through with, because you're saying, okay, it takes time and so on. I just looked up, when did the cases against Trump begin? So obviously the election was in 2020, whenever it was, November?
It's always November, isn't it?
By the 1st of December,
it's October.
He was in court in Georgia. In the 1st of December, there was also a court case, Trump versus Pennsylvania. What else have I got? So there was another one. Oh yeah, 14th of December, Trump v. Biden. So, I mean, within a month, they were putting him through the legal process when it was them. So why is it been, whatever it's been, almost a year now? Well, people aren't actually in court.
That's the issue, is that you never know, because I think lots of stuff are happening behind the scenes. So it could be the case that he is engaging in a sort of... it's either that it has nothing to do with behind the scenes stuff, and these processes take time, or he could be in cahoots with some of them behind the scenes, trying to get some Democrats to support his agenda in some cases, and making some concessions.
The most charitable...
I'm talking in completely realpolitik.
Yeah, the most charitable interpretation that I can come up with is that when it was the Democrats doing it, the cases were made up, and therefore they could bring them quickly. And these cases are real, and therefore they need a bit more time. But the US government is not short on
it
capacity.
Could be. I'll say this. I mean, I'm not gonna occupy a Trump can do no wrong stance. So it's not that everything I read that is critical of Trump, I'll instantly say it's false. But that said, there is huge Democrat corruption, obviously.
Yeah. I suspect that most of this is actually just bluster. It's kind of like covering fire, just to get them to shut up, basically. Right, we're going to do this, and then so now the Democrats are worried about their own skins rather than what Trump is doing, allowing them to move into a different position. I don't think this is going to cover anything. And
they're saying that Letitia James who is New York attorney who won some cases against him, is being investigated in multiple jurisdictions, including ones related to alleged mortgage fraud and her actions in investigating Trump. And I want to end with the last one because it's really interesting. And he's talking about Al Sharpton, but this is something that I'd say sheds some light into the picture, or at least to a degree, because I want us to remember that the Democrats have polarized culture to such an extent that people have ended up disbelieving institutions to a very large extent. Yeah. And this right now creates the problem, and it looks like they're trying to blame it all on Trump, whereas I think to a very large extent it's the fault of the Democrats. And here he's talking about someone who wasn't a Democrat, but I think that in this case, if I were Trump, I would definitely want to investigate someone like this.
Okay. Go.
I'm not saying something more, but at least I would want that person to
What has happened
investigate.
here?
So they're talking about someone called Miles Taylor, who was a member of the first Trump administration, the Trump 45 administration, and he wrote an anonymous New York Times article in 2018 talking about how he's within the administration. And let me put it here. He says, "I am part of the resistance inside the Trump administration. I work for the president, but like-minded colleagues and I have vowed to thwart parts of his agenda and his worst inclinations." Right. So they're saying that he wrote it anonymously, and he at some point
He's got his name attached to it now.
Yeah, but at some point he left the
Sounds like treason to me.
He left the administration, and he said who he was. So he writes down that he doesn't come from a leftist perspective or something, but he says, to be clear, ours is not the popular resistance of the left. We want the administration to succeed and think many of its policies have already made America safer and more prosperous. But just see the title.
Yeah.
You don't have to read more. If you read more, you do get a bit concerned to a degree. To another degree, it's very realistic to expect people within a broad administration to have agendas. It's
Sure.
Another day in Ting and why. But if I were Trump and I saw that a member of my administration was
Working against it.
writing anonymous articles about wanting to overthrow parts of my agenda, I would want that person at least to be investigated.
I'll tell you who they should investigate.
Yeah.
We have the list of who they should investigate. Is everybody Biden gave a pardon to. Right, and only one of those was signed with his own hand, the Hunter Biden.
The problem is, I think the pardon means that you couldn't do anything about them even if you did find something.
Well, no, because that's why I made the point. Only one of them was signed with his own hand. and that was the Hunter Biden one.
Right.
The rest of them were signed by an auto pen. Now, I checked the Constitution when this was a live issue, and the Constitution does not say that the auto pen has the power to grant a pardon.
Oh, really?
It says the president does.
Really? The auto pen doesn't have that power.
It doesn't, right? And it was the auto pen that signed them, not the president. So you've got your list. Go after them.
Who are the men that pick for scraps amongst the ruins at the end of history? You should know, because you encounter them every day. Between the towering buildings of a fallen empire, we find the Fellahin, the historyless men, who know nothing of the turning of the cosmic wheel and find themselves outside of civilization itself. Cut loose from the great chain of being, they represent the loam into which our dying culture will return. That is, unless we choose to take up the burden once again. This Fellahin condition is the subject we explore in issue 4 of Islander magazine, on sale while stocks last and available worldwide at shop.lotuseaters.com.